Shalom, and welcome to a message for the Parsha for Parshat Re'eh. Re'eh means see, look. As the very first verse of this Parsha begins, Re'eh anochi notei lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, look, I give before you today meaning every day, blessing and the opposite of blessing, curse. And then the verse continues, it qualifies, and it says, the blessing will be if you'll do what Hashem tells you to do, and unfortunately the curse will come about if, God forbid, you stray from the ways of Hashem. Now, the question is, we know typically when the Torah wants us to put our minds to something, when the Torah wants us to understand something, to contemplate something, it uses the term Shema, as in Shema Yisrael. Shema means hear, listen, which really means pay attention to. Like when you say, I hear what you're saying, means I understand, I absorb, I comprehend what you're saying. This is something we need to understand. We need to understand that there's blessing, there's curse, there's good, there's bad, and it's all a consequence of what we do. Why does Hashem use the term here, Re'eh, see? Now, in general, seeing means that the thing is vivid. The thing is so real that you just totally absorb it in your mind. It becomes, in a certain sense, part of you. Like in your own cloud, it becomes you. Whereas if you hear something, if you understand something, as well as you may understand it, but it doesn't become unified with you because you haven't seen it. It's still a theoretical thing. It's still something that's somewhat, to some degree, abstract. So you see that Hashem is telling us, I really want you guys to really absorb this, to really see this, to really get it. What is it that he wants us to see? What is it that he wants us to really, really get? So the answer is that really there's a question that could be asked here. What kind of great news is this? What kind of great thing is this that Hashem is telling us, see, I was the one who put before you. I am the one who gives you blessing and curse. What kind of good is there in the curse? True, it's a consequence of what we do, but that's not like a positive thing to be telling us about. That's not something that should grab headlines in God's news. Why is he telling it to us? And the answer is, what he's really telling us is, I've given you the greatest gift. The fact that I created good and bad, the fact that I gave you the possibility to choose, the opportunity to make your own decision, thus leading you either on the path of blessing or, God forbid, the opposite, that is the ultimate gift. That is the ultimate unique present that I've given to mankind. And that is the idea of free choice. You see, if everything was just blessing and just good, if we didn't have the ability to choose bad, we didn't have the ability to make our own bad choices, then the good that we would do would have no meaning, would have no value, because it wouldn't come from us. It would just be kind of by rote. It would just be kind of like by happenstance, that it's just happening on its own. Okay, it's almost like you don't award yourself for breathing. Why not? Because you just breathe naturally. It just comes on its own. If you stop breathing, God forbid, that's when you start to gag. That's when you start to feel desperate. If life was only good, if we didn't know of anything else, if there was no other alternative, there were no other opportunities which were calling for our attention, which were enticing us, then the good that we would do would have no value at all. And that's what Hashem says. Besides understanding that, some things are good, some things are bad, this might lead to good, this might lead to bad, I want you to see, I want you to always have that picture in front of you, that everything that is in this world is here for a reason. Even those things that seem to be cursed, even those things that seem to be bad, you should know that I made it. And there is an ultimate purpose. There's a deeper meaning. There's a deeper objective in all of it. And that is the ultimate blessing. So at the end of the day, meaning ultimately, everything is a blessing, even the curse. The fact that curse exists, the fact that bad exists, the fact that evil exists, that in and itself is part of the ultimate blessing, the ultimate gift, namely free choice. May God always guide us to really pick and make the right choices, that we never get off that path And we never ever, God forbid, have to experience the second part of this verse, only always the first part, which is the blessing as a consequence of our good deeds, of our good choices. Shabbat Shalom.